Welcome to In Touch Crime Beat. I'm Officer Don with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson.
Out of jail, okay? Don't mess up.
And those are the people, those repeat offenders, the ones that go to prison. And
They say we're the #1 rated radio show in the whole country.
This is Crime Beat. I'm Officer Don with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson. Ray, what's up in the crime world this week?
well, there's lots going on this week. I'm waiting for the crime report for the month of May from Lieutenant David Lyons with Planning and Analysis at the police department. And when that happens, I'm anxious to see what's going on with crime in our community. Something that's going on around the country, Officer Don, is this idea that people are not given information. And I saw this report out of Kansas City, it reflects in Lexington to a smaller degree.
Are you talking about witnesses or victims?
Both?
Both. Okay.
Yeah, both. In more than 175 Kansas City shooting cases, the victims did not cooperate with police, who then abandoned the investigation. Analyzing all of the city's non-fatal shootings, nearly 300, overall 60% of the victims did not help the police or pursue the shooters. Each victim's refusal kicks off a tragic cycle that obstructs justice, say the police, and it's true. It fosters more violence. Without a victim, police stop investigating and prosecutors don't file charges. Long-time practices that shocked some national experts and police everywhere. The shooters remain free and they become emboldened.
Well, we had that come up when I was a detective here in Lexington, and we would still follow up on those cases. It makes it much more difficult, and not only that, especially prosecuting, because you might have witnesses who say, yeah, I saw him shoot him, but when the victim says, I didn't see nothing, I don't know what you're talking about, it must be very difficult for you to prosecute that, to put this person on the stand. Does that victim then become a hostile witness?
Oh, I'll tell you, we did one case that Walter Gray was the guy, and some woman went up into what used to be the Aspendale housing project to buy crack. And she bought it from one guy, and the other guy got mad and shot her, killed her. Came time for the trial, and we tried Walter Gray. And guess what? In the back of the courtroom, we had a whole row of thugs who were taking pictures with their camera and sending them out to people.
Trying to intimidate the witnesses.
Well, yeah, and it did. So your question would be, well, what did you do about it, Ray?
How did you handle that?
Well, we called the homicide unit, asked them to come over and identify all of the people in the back row.
Mm-hmm.
They did, and of course that caused them to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was.
Well, but in that particular case, you had a dead victim.
Yeah.
But what I'm referring to is cases where we get called to the hospital, the UK hospital, because someone's been shot, and the person is sitting there gut shot, and you're talking to them, and you're asking them as an investigator, who did this to you, what happened, and they said, it was just a stray bullet, I don't even know, and you know better. So you've got a live victim that survives, but then refuses to cooperate. How do you prosecute those cases? Let's assume that the police actually had witnesses, and they're able to. Can they make an arrest if the victim doesn't want to charge? If the victim doesn't want to charge the perpetrator, can the police still make an arrest?
Well, of course they can.
Okay.
And they do, because what the burden of proof for the police to make an arrest is probable cause. Do you have probable cause to believe that the crime was committed and this yo-yo did it? That's the question. Just listen to me. They're not thinking. Police don't think in terms of how's this going to turn out at trial. Mm-hmm. You see, that once that happens, then when we get the case, then the police continue to investigate, and more times than not in Lexington, they solve them. Mm-hmm. You see, because then they get real busy about looking for witnesses, and some people are charged, and they want to get some relief. And so what happens is, are you a witness to this thing? Yeah. Well, here's what we'll do. We'll recommend this sentence, but you're going to have to testify. Boy, and that's when the rubber meets the road, when these characters have to get up on the stand. When they make a statement to the police, frequently it's different than what they testify to on the stand, because all of a sudden they got to get up there and they don't want to be identified as a snitch. So we have to impeach them with a prior inconsistent statement.
And that's when you make them a hostile witness.
We've started our new internship program this summer, and one of our new interns in our group is a young woman named Margaret Lear. And Margaret, we've asked her to come and join us here today. Margaret, welcome.
Hi.
Now tell us where you're from.
I'm from Paris, Kentucky.
And you're an undergraduate.
Yes, sir.
And how many of our interns are law students?
There are 4.
Mm-hmm. And where do you go to school?
I go to school at Washington and Lee University in Lexington, Virginia.
That, of course, is where my son went. So she was automatic. And tell us a little bit about what you've done so far.
We've done a lot this far. It's crazy what we're allowed to do when we're with Ray, because they allow us to get away with stuff. We've toured the jail at the Fayette County Detention Center. We've also toured the police headquarters. Mm-hmm. And I did a ride-along with a police officer, Officer Painter, in the East Sector.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
That was so much fun. We sang along to country songs
Did you?
in the car. He'll probably kill me for saying that.
Oh, no, he's a good guy.
And I'm really looking forward to doing a helicopter ride.
Well, she threw that out there, didn't she? In the police helicopter or with me? You're telling me we're going to helicopter ride in this.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
She's got yes.
We'll
sir.
see.
That's easy.
What about the detention center when you went there? What were some of your observations?
Everyone there is the Commonwealth's attorney best friend. They love Ray.
Are you talking about the people in jail? Oh yeah, he's a rock star at the
They
Fayette
hoop
County
and holler.
Detention Center. There's our man. If they could get a hold of you, they'd rip you apart. You imagine? That'd be awful.
We went to. They took us into the GG pod.
Now, which is that? Which one is that?
Well, I didn't know, but those are the. That's where everybody's charged with murder, attempted murder, rape, all of the serious assaults. So in we go, and so it was. I didn't know that's what we were doing, and so I took, and these guys are all just looking at Margaret and all the other interns, and so I did a little tour around and it distracted them a little bit from these interns who all have their arms crossed in the defensive posture. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so and they seem to be happy to see me.
Well, that's one of those deals, right, where you go with Ray as his friend, as his intern to the jail, and you're with him until a riot breaks out, and then you don't know him. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
he's not.
You kick him too.
Ray,
yeah.
who? Let's get him. That would not be a good place for the prosecutor to be at a time like that.
Well, what are some?
They got things under control there.
What are some of the things that we got planned
coming up in the future?
Uh-huh.
We are going to do Day with the Detective, and so that's actually happening right now. My day's tomorrow. And right now they're investigating a homicide from Saturday, so hopefully they'll still be doing that by tomorrow.
And you said you get to get away with stuff. What you mean is you get the inside scoop of the stuff. You actually get to spend time with the detective, maybe go to crime scenes.
Yes, and they tell us a little bit more than they would tell someone.
Yeah, so because that's one of the things we're interested in having you get involved in the criminal justice side of things. So it's sort of a chance to recruit good people from schools like Washington Lee and UK, and you got them from all over, right?
Yes, we do. And Margaret's one of our shining stars. Unfortunately for her, I've known her for a while. I've watched her grow up. She used to sing in the choir where I go to church, and she's an impressive kid, and she's just a real impressive young woman, and we're really pleased that she's part of our team.
Now, folks can go to your website, lexingtonprosecutor.com, and learn more about the internship program and also what the interns do. You guys will do videos from time to time, like when they do ride-alongs with the police or go out to the jail. So everyone can have an inside track of what's happening at lexingtonprosecutor.com.
Well, it's as a matter of fact, Aspen Carlisle is sort of the assistant that's working on it with us, and she's doing introductions. So go to lexingtonprosecutor.com.
We'll see you next week on In Touch.
Tune into the following stations to hear the full episode.